Oh, my microphone is way over there. Gotta pull the microphone over here so we can hear it better. Turn that down, turn this up. There we go. Now I'm all ready to stream. Look at that. Oh boy. I do realize I haven't fixed the ticker down at the bottom. It's still talking about blue reflections. So just give me a moment. Allow me just a little bit of time to, fix that. And stream text. Here we go. And then here's the goal. Game dev. Levels, sound, music, and balancing. There we go. That should update the ticker down at the bottom, so hopefully that's all up to date. And here we go. It's been a hot minute since we've done a dev stream. The last one wasn't even that eventful because I think I spent the time just sticking around with options stuff and also having to issue the apology. So last dev stream was not very eventful. So the last productive dev stream was I don't know how long it's been now. It's probably been over a month. So yeah, now we're back at it again. Gonna pour myself a nice drink here, brandy and Coke. And you know what? Just to kill my viewership right at the start. Besides, I think by now most people probably have already clicked off anyways. So just to go ahead and hammer home the diminishing viewership, what I'm gonna do is I finished a new song. I actually kind of showed off a little bit of it last dev stream. I don't know when I showed off a little bit of it, but it's finished now. So why don't we take a listen at the finished product, which I have already gotten it set up to listen to right here. Let's give it a whirl. Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. Okay, so anyways, yeah. I'm pretty happy with that song, actually. It's, I don't know what else to say about it. It's got these jazzy drums. I love the jazzy drums, man. Don't know what to say about it. It's just, it's been stuck in my head a lot, too, which I think is probably a good sign. I'm not sure. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. This song was a little bit more difficult. You know, a lot of the songs that I've done in the past, the other level songs, it's a level song. Usually, it seems to come together pretty quickly. You know, I just kind of let the music flow as it feels like it should. But with this song, it really felt like it needed to restrain itself. You know, there are so many different ways I could make it like more exciting and stuff like that, but it always just felt awkward and you know, it didn't really suit the song very much. So the song really begged for restraint, and so because of that, it was tough to just let the music just flow like I did with the other ones. So it actually took a little while to bring the song together, but pretty happy with the end result. There is actually a little bit more. That was just like the loop version of the song for the game, but of course the listenable version actually does have like a little ending section to it as well, but it's nothing special. Anyways, so a lot has been accomplished since the last time I did one of these dev streams. There is so much to go over, and I don't even know really where to begin on any of this. There's been Oh yeah, good God, there's been so much. It's been a while since I've done one of these dev streams, first of all. So not only has it just naturally been a lot of time, and therefore I could accomplish a lot of different stuff within that span of time. But also it was just fairly productive these past couple of weeks. So I got a really lot done. So let's just start with the C's first of all. So one thing that I've done, actually, I'm going to, I don't know, maybe during the stream I might briefly explain why I did this. Maybe not. I really would rather, so there's something I spent a lot of time working on. Let me preface this first. Preface this first before I get into explaining what it is that I'm trying to explain. So I spent a long time working on this. It's not ready yet. It probably won't be ready for a while. In fact, technically, it cannot even exist in a proper form until the game is pretty much finished. I mean, not necessarily. I mean, all the levels need to be built. I guess that's what I'm saying. All the levels need to be built for it to exist correctly. So, I don't know if I want to explain what that is now. I can't even, but I might be able to. I might talk about it some when I have, like, at least the logic to it set up. It won't be able to function properly until, you know, like I said, until all the levels have been built. But I at least can set up the logic for it to operate correctly, and in which case I might show that off maybe next time. I don't know if I'll talk about it this stream or not. But basically what I've done is all of my chests are now very simple. It is just a common event that just runs whenever you open the chest, and every single chest is like that. I spent a long time setting this up, and there is a very specific reason why I have made chests a common event. Here's my engagement challenge for the week. Let's see if you guys, you smart motherfuckers, can figure out why I would want to, let me phrase it this way. Put the contents, like the logic and contents of the chest, into a container, into a single container that I can just place inside the chest event. Why would I want to do that? Let's see if the smart folks can figure out what purpose that might serve. So, anyways, I spent a long time reworking the way that my chests work, so that way, in order for this thing that hopefully I can show off next dev stream, maybe, then I had to restructure all of this stuff. So I spent a long time working on that, so that way I can show it off whenever it's ready. So, and that affects every single chest. I'm glad I did this now before most of the chests have been implemented, because I had to make sure that I could find every single chest and make sure that, oh, no. There it is. Okay, yeah. This is because it's related to a puzzle, so, yeah, the puzzle needed to do its logic first before the chest shows up. So yeah, anyways, yeah, so all the chests have had their items, or has had their logic set to just a common event. So yeah, that's one of the things that got done this week. One of the other things that I have been working on is, if we go over here to the Rocky Lake. So, I had previously talked about this before in my previous stream, where I talked about the shooter mechanic with the lightning rod, which was in this area. I talked about possibly adding a new area to the level that would basically be a puzzle room, where that would just kind of fully explore using your new item, exploring its features and stuff like that. But I had ultimately decided not to add that new room, because most of this level seems to be more focused not so much on puzzles, but mostly on combat. And so I felt like a dedicated puzzle room would kind of just feel maybe a little bit out of place in this level. So I decided to kind of go against not adding that extra room. However, while I was redoing all the chests, I had realized that actually this room has quite an abundance of chests in this single room. So like we have this small chest here that just gives you a healing item. We have the main chest here that gives you the lightning rod. And then here we have this one, which gives you a piece of the manuscript. And then I had another chest that was right here, which would give you a rope. And it just felt like there's too much going on in this one room. So I wanted to change that. And so I decided that I would go ahead and add a new room, which is right over here. You can see this has been added here, and this is a transfer that will take you to the new room, which I built. So this one is still... It's not really a puzzle. It's more of a maze. But it's pretty simple. All it is about, you start here and you want to get to this chest. There's a couple of things that I've done here. First of all is, obviously, so I've explained before that in my game you can do the levels in any order. So it's possible to get the key item from another level before this point. And so, to, make players feel like they've accomplished something, this little gap right here can only be jumped across if they have the item from a previous level. Or from, I guess I wouldn't say previous level, but from a different level. So if they do have that item, then they can pretty much just bypass everything and just get the chest right away and totally ignore all of this over here. However, if they don't have that item, they have to have the lightning rod to be able to make it here. So if they have the lightning rod, then they just have to find their way through here. And basically what the challenge is that it's not really much of a challenge. It's just that every time you have to recharge the lightning rod, it hurts you. So basically, you want to try to get through this without taking too much damage. Yeah. That's really the kind of main thing here. It's just getting through this without taking too much damage. So anytime you take a wrong path, obviously that's wasting one charge. And if you waste a charge, you will likely have to recharge it. And recharging hurts you, so you'll take damage from that. So it's all about trying to make sure you take the right path. It's not a huge punishment if you do take the wrong one, and it's really kind of not such a big deal, because honestly, there's the healing torch right here. So, after they leave that area, they can come back through here, use the healing torch, and they'll be all good. So, one thing I do want to show off, why don't we go through there? So I'm going to launch the game. And one thing I want to show off before we hop in there is this cool new thing. So I showed off game rules before, I think. But I don't think I showed it off to quite such the extent that I have. So this is something I'm really happy about. So I have game rules here. Like I said, I think I've showed off a little bit of this a little while back, but I've continued to expand on it, and I have more plans for game rules as well. But again, those are not featured yet. So I have added some new stuff to game rules. I've also added tutorial options here. Originally, I was going to put tutorials in game rules, but decided, it's better if it's not in game rules for one small but very big reason. Small but also very important. Not small and big, but small but important reason, which I'll show off soon. I'm very happy that I was able to accomplish this. So anyways, game rules basically allows you to modify some variables within the game to make the game either easier or more difficult. So we have like save at torch here, and one thing I really like about game rules is that the color coordination, like it shows you like green means that's the default setting, and there's redundancy too. You can see like up here the description says this game was balanced around this setting being turned off. So you have redundancy. Not only does this tell you up here where the game was balanced, but also you know that it's the correct option because it's green. And same thing down here. So whenever you change it, the color changes. So it tells you, hey, that's not how the game was balanced, but you're welcome to change it if you want. So I have all sorts of different options here. Save at torch is here, so it allows you, I showed this just a moment ago. We have this torch over here. And so this allows you to save at those torches because currently the game is only planned to have basically one save point, and that's it. And then free healing. So basically what this is anytime, for example, the torch itself is free healing. If you go to the torch and you need health, it heals you for free. There's no cost. And anytime you go back to the town, whenever you enter the town, it automatically heals you once you walk into town. So this also disables that as well. So hello, Fortuna. Glad to have you here. So disabling free healing means basically you won't get any free healing anymore. And so, you know, that means you have to spend more money on healing items or or just being more cautious about how you use your health. So I like this option. I was pretty happy of coming up with the no free healing option here. I think I might have had trash value, community XP. I think I maybe had some of these last time. I'm not sure. Trash value is basically so there's a level up system not for the player but for the town. So the town will level up over time, and one of the ways to get a little bit of extra experience points when you are, to level up your town is picking up trash. So this trash will spawn throughout the level, or throughout the town, and you can pick it up and you can get some extra experience points for the town. So you can change how many experience points you get for picking up trash. As you can see, by default, it's set to 1. But you can set it up to 3, which would make leveling up the town really fast, just using trash. And then there's the community XP value. Visky, hello! Nice to have you here. Community XP value is similarly, this is basically how many experience points you need to level up the town. So by default, you need 20 pieces of trash to level up the town to the next level, but you can lower that if you want. Which, if you did this, three pieces of trash, or 3 points per piece of trash at 12 experience for leveling up the town, you'd be able to level up the town very quickly. But you can also raise it as well to increase the length of the length of the game, to make it take longer to level up the town if you really wanted to. Fiddle's XP rate, pretty self-explanatory. This changes the base multiplier for experience, so, and it's in percentages, so it's like 10% more, 20% more, 30% more, 40% more, 50% more, or you can reduce it if you want. And then notes from chest. So once again, this is adjusting a base value of a multiplier. So this actually gets multiplied by other factors. The way that I handle gold is based on player level plus base value times 10, I think is what it is. So this just sets the base value. So it'll be the base value times the player level times 10. So, yeah. So you can adjust that to either increase the amount of gold you get or decrease it. So anyways, yeah, those are all my new game rules. I have more game rules planned that I'd like to implement, but for now, that's what we have on the list. So, I can show now, if we go to new game. Oh, right. Hang on. We need to resume game. This one. Wait, narrow bends? No. Oh, I don't have a save. Oh, fuck me. Don't have a save. Alright, we'll have to do a new game. So, I have to get the chest to spawn. I thought I had a save just after I made the chest spawn, but I guess I don't. So there we are. So I showed this off in a previous game dev stream. I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. Not a couple of weeks ago, probably about a month ago. So this is my, oh my god, I just talked over all of it. Oh, no. I hope you guys could hear that. Oh no, the volume is so low. That's okay, that's okay. I'm getting it so I can show you another chest. So, oh, of course, last time when I had shown this off, I didn't have the tutorials set up, so those are set up now. So I guess I shouldn't turn off tutorials then, and just show that off. So, with the lightning rod, like I showed before, you can recharge up to a maximum of 5, and then you can expend a charge. Just like that. So yeah, there's the tutorial. So, I've shown all this off before. Now, one thing I want to do is... So, one of the things that I want to talk about this stream is I've done a lot of work on... Oh, wow, that's getting really loud in my headphones. I've done a lot of work with audio this past week. So, I'm pretty proud of some of my new sound effects. So, that was one of the things I want to talk about this stream. So, we're going to make our way over to the chest. Show off the new fancy room that I built. For the chest. And you'll get to hear the sound effects. Okay, so this is the maze that I built. So... There's some monsters hiding that will try to sneak up on you. And you just have to find your way through the maze. It's nothing too special. It's not supposed to be difficult or anything, because as I had mentioned, this area is really more... This level is more focused on combat, so I'm not trying to make like a really challenging maze or puzzle or anything, because that's not the point of this level. This level is really focused on killing shit. There we go. Now we can hear my fancy new sound effects. Yeah, that treasure sound effect is good. It's It's satisfying to hear. Oh, no charges. So one of the other things I had worked on is restructuring the way that luck works. And I guess I can show this off as well. So there is a boss, mini-boss, mid-boss, whatever you want to call it here. So one of the things that I had worked on is actually I had Yonfly's enemy leveler put in place, I don't know, a little while back, probably about a month and a half ago, maybe a little bit longer. But the one problem is that it changes, like, I don't know, it seems to, like, because I put it in, all of the base enemy stats were now pretty much ignored. They were overwritten by Yonfly's thing, so basically I had to make sure that I used Yonfly's note tags or whatever to make sure that all the enemies are using the correct stats and stuff. Otherwise it was horribly unbalanced. So I've gone through and I've done that for all the bosses, although it's not final, but at least maybe it's maybe it'll be possible for me to actually win this fight. Because previously I couldn't even do any damage because like using Yonfly's like base stats that had overwritten the enemy, it was like it had given them like a ton of defense, which defense is not even really a calculation that gets considered into most of the skills, or it, how to explain it? It does, but it's expecting a very flat defense number, and Yonfly's number was not only high, but it also scaled, so that was a problem. It basically means I would do 0 damage. So there is one of the sound effects as well. So I added a charging sound effect. So, as I was also trying to talk about, is that I had to redo luck. So the way that luck is calculated by default is it's kind of like a difference. It's checking the difference between, you know, A and B, so it's a subtraction. So basically A's luck minus B's luck, and that equals your success. And so I changed that, first of all, so that way it doesn't compare luck stats between the target and the user. Now it's just checks the user's luck. The other thing is that I've completely shrunk the numbers. So the purpose that this is for is because luck doesn't affect a lot of different things in my game other than your stack rate, which I seem to be having, coincidentally, bad luck at achieving, but basically you have your different elemental skills, and you're trying to build stacks. There we go, like that. So, I got a stack on him, and I need to, what am I trying to do? That. And he's trying to get a stack on me as well, so the enemies can stack damage as well on the player. So, basically, I've changed luck. First of all, it's not even called luck in my game, it's called stack rate. And what stack rate does is it basically helps you get more stacks of damage on the enemy. So this this mini boss is not a very good example, so I'm actually going to refresh the... Actually, no, let's move the player character. Let's move the player character to... Oh, we can't start the player character here. We need to start the player character somewhere else. We need to start them in the north corridor, so I can use my skip events. So we will use skip events.
there's that trash I was talking about. So you can pick that up. Oh, she's not supposed to be there. Why is she there? I should probably fix that. There's more trash. Lots of trash around. So I wanted to show off. So this is another mechanic I've built into luck, which I call stack momentum. So before I go into battle, let's take a pause real fast and check, not skills, status. And what you'll see is I have the stack rate right here. And, oh, you can't see it behind my camera. Let's switch. There we go. And you'll see that there is a 6 there. So my current stack rate is 6. So watch what happens when I go into a fight. Go into a fight and win, I should say. So I'm just going to do this fight like normal. Hopefully there's no problems. Everything should be balanced. I'm having a terrible time getting stacks, though. Can't get any fucking stacks, man. Come on. There we go. There's a stack. The heroine seems to come from a blue reflection game. Why do you say that? Oh. They have an electric stack on me, so... Oh, okay, he's gone. Also, the death sound effect. I don't know if you caught that. Kind of passed by pretty quick. Alright. See if I can... Okay, alright, I got a stack right away. Looking good. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a second stack, though. There we go. Alright. So, now, if I take a pause and go to status, you'll notice my stack rate is now 7. And if I go to another fight, gotta make my way over to another fight, so give me just a moment while I walk towards the next fight. Here we are. Okay. Hopefully with slightly better luck, maybe I'll get more stacks? No? Alright. There we go. Got a stack on him. probably heal. In fact, let's just guard. That was a good choice, too. That was a very good choice. Alright, so what I can do, hopefully to speed this up, is I can expend that stack, do a little bit of extra damage, and kill him. See if I can do a juggle again. He's open to criticals, but so this is a critical state, which is pretty rare to get, but basically it opens him up to criticals. I can do extra damage with the basic attack, but it's not a lot more damage. Ideally, I would want to use an element. Oh shit, I just realized, I thought I had enough comp feed to do that. I did not. That's okay, he's dead. Alright, and then once again, we can take a look at my stats, and you can see now my luck is an 8. So, one more time I'm going to go to a fight, but this next fight I'm going to intentionally lose. Alright, so here we go. Another fight. I'm just going to just lose this fight. That almost did me in, but not quite. This should be it. There we go. I don't know why she is there. She needs to move. Anyways, so now if we look at status, you'll see that my stack rate has returned to 6. So basically what stack momentum is it's sort of a way to speed up combat as you progress, to encourage fighting more monsters. But it's only a small encouragement. Like, I don't want to, like, start giving, like, bonuses and stuff. Like, I was thinking, like, in Star Ocean, I think they had, like, the bonus board. I don't remember exactly the rules of how the bonus board worked, but effectively it's, like, I think whenever you get, like, critical hits or something like that, you add a new, like, bonus to your bonus board, which could be like a small bonus in like XP boosts or gold drops or item drops or whatever like that. And you could build up like a really massive bonus board that would have like tons and tons, like the small little, you know, tiny little bits of bonus XP here and bonus X gold there would eventually add up if you get a really full bonus board. But you would eventually lose your bonus board from taking like critical hits or something. I don't remember the rules exactly on how it worked, but it was something like that. So I really kind of don't want to do something like that, because the one thing about that system that always bothered me was that when you lose a bonus board that you've just built up over a long period of time, like a really nice bonus board, God, it sucks. It feels so bad to lose all of that. So I'm not looking for something quite so generous. So I'm not looking for something quite so favorable for the player. But at the same time, I want to have something that kind of encourages continued fighting. Because the other thing is as I showed earlier with the the lightning rod is that you can also avoid combat. So it's kind of like the yin to the yang here. So you can avoid combat, but you're not getting experience, you're not getting gold and stuff like that, but you don't have to deal with the fights. Now, on the other hand, if you do the fights, then combat will start to get a little bit easier. Very, very slightly, very minorly. I do believe there is a limit to how high. I don't remember if I actually set the cap on it or not. Should be in my common events. Stack momentum here. Yeah. So there is a limit to how high it can go. I did actually set this, but I decided the way that it works is that stack momentum resets whenever you enter the town. So whenever you enter the town, it automatically just resets your stack momentum. So basically the way that I see it is you can only have as much momentum as there is within the current level. And your momentum will end when you exit the level. So it's not like you can carry over a massive stack of you can't carry a massive stack momentum. You can't carry a lot of extra stats over into another level and then just completely steamroll it. You'll have to actually start that level at 0 and kind of build that stack rate back up again. So, yeah, I kind of like how it goes so far. It's very minor. It's a very subtle adjustment. So I may play around with the numbers a little bit more. Yeah, I was pretty happy with that system getting put in place. And the one thing I should mention, I was kind of addressing this, but also was somewhat distracted. I talked about adjusting the way that luck functions, and I did say that I changed the way that the numbers, and I've squashed the numbers down into very small numbers. So I think it's 30, like, the numbers are 30% of your typical numbers, luck numbers. So it's basically a 70% reduction in the numbers, if I remember correctly. So I was using this as my base. From what I could tell from my testing, basically your 250 luck seems to be average luck, and then anything below 250 this is your basic RPG Maker numbers. From what I could tell, anything below 250 is kind of considered bad luck, and then above 250 is good luck. So this was just divided or multiplied by 0.3. No, it's 0.03, so it's only 3%. Sorry. 250 times 0.03. Yeah, there we go. That's the numbers I'm using. So it's only 3% of your base RPG numbers. So a 97% reduction in the number size. So, and that's how we get the numbers that we're using. So that starting 6, the main character has at level 1 is slightly below average luck. So that's why my stack rate was pretty poor. But there's a lot of things to make up for that. First of all, that was level 1, and of course, as you play, you level up, and therefore your luck increases as things go typically in RPGs. But also there's the stack momentum as well, which will give you another bump in stack rate as you kill more monsters. And then there's also, of course, plenty of equipment as well to adjust luck. So yeah, there's that. So what's next? We've talked about some of the sound design stuff, showed off the new song, showed off the luck and stack rates and all that, the stack momentum mechanic. I've done a lot more work in the cave. It's still not finished. I'm getting there, though. I'm getting there. A little bit at a time, just a little bit at a time. And eventually I'm going to be able to finally finish this place one day, maybe. I got distracted dealing with the luck mechanic and some of the sound design stuff. Also, the chests, redoing the way that chests work, that took quite a bit of time to set up. So I got distracted with some other stuff, just some polishing and other things that needed to get done, or things that I wanted to get done. So I didn't devote as much time to the cave, but I still have made some good progress. I have got a new animation for my new item in the cave. And also, most of this left ribbon, as I've called it, is finished. I just need to do, not that one, this one. I need to do this room, put all the events and all that in here. And there's some other polishing and stuff that I need to do. So what I'm going to do for us here on this stream, because there's been so much work that's been done, is I'm just going to play through the left ribbon here. I've previously shown off the right ribbon, so I'm not going to play through that. There's no reason to. We've already seen it. So I'm just going to set the player to start here, not the boat. Set the player to start here. So there still needs to be some work done in this room. But you can see I now have these stairs filled in. So that is your blockage, your locked door, in a sense, you need to overcome. And yeah, so the whole goal of the left side is getting the item to help you unblock that. So that's what we're gonna do, is we're gonna go through the whole left side and get that item. So I think previously when I had shown this off, is I had this room finished. However, I've added sound effects now, so now you have, not only do you have my beautiful animation of these tanks filling and emptying, but now there's wonderful sound effects that go along with it. I haven't actually applied the sound effects to every tank, but some of them have it. Just like that. So here, this is actually another room that I haven't finished. You can see that there's still the... Just need to buy a shovel. You can see there's still this black box here that I need to fill in with the events for the item. The blocked stairs. It's not a shovel, but it's good thinking. This little earthquake thing... so I like this earthquake mechanic that I've put in. You've probably seen it happen a couple of times now. It's based on a random timer when it happens, and it just happens occasionally. There's some cool sound work I did with it too that will make sense when you play the game. It's very subtle though, so maybe not everyone will catch it, but I think it's pretty fucking cool, and it seems quite active for some reason. So this room, this room took forever, and actually just before streaming I had found another bug. So I don't know how finished it really is. Can you complete it? Yes, I think so. But only if you know exactly what to do. For sure I can say if you know exactly what to do, you can complete this room. However, there are probably plenty of outlying cases that I need to solve for. Outerlying cases that may potentially cause problems. So basically what you have here in this room is you have these 3 tanks here. And the water is going to cascade down from one to the next to the next. And then finally just drain out completely until you apply a lock to the specified tank. So, and we need to get a fish so that... Oh, I probably should have stayed looking around. Hang on. So I need to get a fish so I can cross over here. Here is the exit. So this is the main goal for this room, is to get there. And there's also a bonus chest over here that you can also try to figure out how to get as well. So, as I said, the water will cascade, so here's what that looks like. So the water just cascades down. So you have to apply a lock in order to stop the water from flowing. So, as you can see, I really fucking love the work I did with the switches. So, you can play with these switches, right? So turning on the uppermost lock will turn on all the ones below it. But when you turn it off, it doesn't turn off all the other ones below it. So you have like something like that. And here, turns on both of those switches. So you can play with these switches to try to figure out how to adjust the locks. So first, I guess I should say, spoiler. If you want to try to solve this puzzle yourself, probably look away. The main thing is getting the fish first, and then figuring out where to put that fish. Oh, I'm bad at my own mini game. Alright, so now that we've filled it, what we can also do is, you don't have to turn these off. You can just do that, and it turns off all the switches. So, now, we need to answer the riddle. Caught it first try. So there we go. It took me forever to set up this room, and like I said, I still have some bugs with it. So finally, this room doesn't really have a lot in it. It's just kind of like the calm before the storm, I guess. But this room, I've been working on for the past couple of days. There's a lot that's going on in this room. So this is also sort of actually a tutorial. You just might not realize it. So as you can see, we have our interesting statues here. There's not really anywhere you can go at the moment. You know, all these paths are blocked off. And you might have noticed there's a fish down here, but there's no way to jump over there or go over there. So our only route that we can go to right now is this chest. And it's one of the big fancy chests, so it contains our new fancy item that we want to use. But what happens when we try to open the chest? There's some sound effects missing. We got a timer. And you'll see actually these chests open up quicker for this section. I try not to waste the player's time too much. So the players need to figure out what the fuck to do during this section. I don't really give them a lot of instruction, and that's kind of on purpose. I'm kind of hoping that there's enough hints going on. Like if you go near the statues, obviously the little icon pops up. They may not have that turned on though, so... But since they're interesting statues, I'm hoping that players will be more interested in clicking on them. So we need to get to that chest over there. So we could try going up this way. It's sort of a bit of a maze. But that's not gonna work. So we have to figure out what to do. And there's actually a few different ways to solve this. The way that I hope most players will do it, the most obvious way, is to get the fish and jump across. And then once you have the stones, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Oh, well, unfortunately, we ran out of time. So, we'll go back and try again. So everything resets. Which, the reason I bring that up is because that was a hassle to get everything to reset properly. But as far as I can tell, everything has reset properly. I've playtested it a few times now, and I haven't seen any problems. I guess they're heading out, Fortuna. Alright, well, catch you later. So, I'll try again, and this time I'm going to go ahead and actually finish it. So, like I said, there is sort of a speedrunning technique, but I'm not going to show that off. I'm going to leave that to the fine folks to figure out on their own. So I'm just going to get the fish, and we'll do it just like last time. Now, oops, I didn't mean to do that. And it's done! Oh yeah, there's I'm gonna catch it now before it shows up. There's some problems with the text. I did some bad programming? I don't know what you'd call it. Bad code. Yep, there it is. So, the chisel and hammer set allows you to break these stones that block the way, just like this. Yeah, I did that animation work. It's pretty basic. But still, I designed the hammer and the chisel and then brought them into Adobe Premiere, and animated them using keyframes. So now with the hammer and chisel, you're able to access all of these. Oh, why is that like that? That's not supposed to happen. Huh. There's a missing square there. I had just fixed this. I don't know why Anyways. Is it going to cause any problems to go through? No, you can go through it just fine. So I don't know what's up with that, but... Anyways, so that's the chisel and hammer set. So one of the things that I was hoping to get an opinion on, but I just missed Fortuna, so I guess I was a little bit too slow on getting to this point. So one of the things about the... lightning rod is that it effectively has two different purposes. It has like a main key item purpose, an overworld puzzle solving purpose for, you know, breaking through barriers, breaking locked doors, as it were. But then it also has an auxiliary function, which is using the lightning rod to slow down enemies. That way you are able to bypass them a little bit more easily. More easily? Well, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, you get the point. So it has that auxiliary function of being able to slow down enemies so you can bypass them. Right now, as it is with my chisel and hammer, the only function that it serves is to break these stones. And there's only going to be a limited number of those, so it kind of makes it feel like at a certain point, this special item that you work so hard to get becomes pointless. So I was trying to think of some sort of auxiliary function. Now, it's a chisel and a hammer, which is more traditionally not used for carving steps. It's usually more used for, like, carving statues or something like that. So I was thinking of something related to that, is being able to create a statue, or basically just spawn a specific event in front of you. And I was trying to think of how I might be able to use this. Is not the only idea I've had, and I'm open to other ideas, but I'd like to hear if any of you guys have any ideas of how this might be used. So let me just kind of go over some of the different ideas that I've thought about, and I'm not sure if they're all possible. So let me start with the ones that I think would be the most interesting, but are maybe the most difficult to implement into the game. Not without either plugins or... I'd probably need plugins or a lot of work on every single enemy troop, which does not sound fun. So the combat ones were either option 1, using the item during combat would allow you to basically construct a wall, and by constructing the wall, you would effectively take no damage for 1 turn. Why I kind of like this idea is that it's different from your regular guard. The way that guard works in this game is that guard is a very effective way of increasing your magic points, your comp. And so using guard helps you gain confidence points, and also because you're guarding, you're taking less damage, and enemies that hit you will increase your confidence points. So it's a very effective way of quickly increasing your confidence points. So the trade-off by building the wall is, the way that I would want it to work is, you would basically, as far as the engine is concerned, you are dodging all of the attacks. So therefore, if you get hit by an attack, it doesn't restore any confidence because you dodge the attack. As far as the engine is concerned, you're dodging the attack. So there is no connection, which means any of the effects that the attack does are completely avoided, bypassed, and so nothing happens. But I don't know really how to do that. Also, how to represent it in the game visually. Like, what I would like to do is kind of have, like, an actual wall be present throughout the turn. And I'm not sure how I would be able to do that, because attack animations, I believe, it's not like the attack animation can stay, like, present through the turn. Like, the next action won't happen until the attack animation itself is finished playing. Let me show you what I'm talking about, attack animations. You have, like any of these. So if you have, like, a really long animation, like some of these ones down here, maybe this one. Yeah, some of these get pretty long. Yeah, like that. So the next action won't happen until all of that is done playing out. So it's not like I could just have, like, a wall animation just loop for 1 turn. I don't know how I would be able to do that. I don't know if I can show pictures during a fight, and even if I could, I would need to be able to remove the picture in a believable way too, by the end of the turn. So yeah, that's the one problem with that idea. So I kind of pivoted that idea for another combat alternative for that kind of thing is, maybe I could have, like, a dummy party member join. So, like, you basically create a statue, right? So you'd use the chisel item during combat, and it'd basically make a statue. And that statue would act as a dummy party member. So you'd have a second party member, and what would happen is that dummy party member would effectively take not all of the aggro, but would basically reduce the enemy's attention. So the enemy would be splitting their attention between the player character and their statue. But there's a lot of problems with that. Is I don't know if you can have party members join in the middle of fight. I honestly am not sure about that. I mean, it may be possible. I've just never even looked into that. I guess I could check right now. Yeah, I don't see anything in the battle options here about like show party member or something like that. So I don't know if that's possible without plugins. So yeah, so I'd have to somehow have basically a party member join the fight and then leave the fight also at the end of it. And it also need to be, like I said, a dummy actor. So I couldn't allow it, like by default, you know, it would work like a normal JRPG where each party member, you get to select the action, but that shouldn't happen with the dummy statue. There should be no actions for it, if that makes sense. So, yeah, so that was my problem with that idea. So both of those combat ideas just really weren't working for me. So my other alternative to this idea was to maybe make it an overworld function. And I was trying to think of what I could do in the overworld with the chisel. So we could craft a statue. So I could use like Yawnfly's event spawner to spawn like a statue in front of the player. So then I was trying to think, well, okay, so we've spawned a statue. Now what? So we want to solve some sort of something. There's a problem, we should fix it. By spawning this statue, that statue can fix that problem. So some of the ideas I had was, so my game, I had mentioned earlier in the stream that there's only one save point, unless you turn on save at torches. There's only one save point, which is here in town. So I was thinking, so one idea is that you could basically create a statue and use it as a save point. And there would be a cost associated with it. Like, you would need to go to the item shop and buy like a stone slab, and those stone slabs could be pretty expensive. So as long as you have a stone slab in your inventory, you could craft a statue, you could spawn a statue, and then you could use that statue to save at basically any time. The thing is like, I don't know. First of all, being able to offer save at torches kind of feels like it bypasses the necessity of that. It's kind of like if players want to save more often, then they should just turn on save at torches. And I don't know, it just feels like it's not enough. It's kind of a lame reward. Like I feel like it should have more utility. You should be able to save and do something else. So my other idea was it could kind of work like Feyor's Wind in Zelda, where basically in a level, in a dungeon, you could use this skill and it would basically put a teleport point at that room that you're in. And then if you cast it again, it will take you back to the beginning of the dungeon. And then, so you can quickly leave the dungeon, and the next time you enter, you can just cast it again, and it'll take you back to the room that you saved in, or you put the teleport point down in. So it allows you to just quickly exit and enter the dungeon. So I was thinking I could do something like that. My idea was that the player could basically spawn effectively an unlimited number of these statues, and they could just put them anywhere, and then basically create fast travel points and set them up wherever they want. The thing is that there's a couple of problems with that. Number one of the problems is that it creates a lot of possibilities for sequence breaking. I'd have to basically go through every level and like turn on a switch to say when it's okay for the player to teleport and when it's not okay. And I think creating a switch to do that would also feel pretty arbitrary to the player. Like, I know why I'm doing it. The purpose of doing that switch is to prevent them from sequence breaking. But to the player's point of view, it just seems like an arbitrary, like, at this arbitrary point in time, I can no longer teleport for some reason. So, you know, like, that doesn't feel like a very good option. The other thing, not only is it possible to sequence break, but it also feels like there's not much of a purpose to it. A lot of these levels are, for the most part, one and done, or they can be one and done. Like, it's possible to do everything inside the dungeon and then never have to go back to it. You can if you want to. I leave that option available. And it is possible to go through the dungeon and miss some things, so maybe you would want to go back and get those things that you missed. But I don't know. It doesn't feel like there wouldn't be many opportunities to actually set up teleportation points. So I don't know. Some of the other gimmicky options that I thought about that I don't know. I really just don't like in general is it could be a mobile shop. Basically, you could once again use a stone slab to create a statue, and maybe that statue could act as like a point of sales. But I don't know. To me, there just seems like to be a disconnect. There's something, I don't know. There's something believable. I know this sounds weird. There's something believable about being able to use statues as like teleport points, quick travel points. But having a statue have an inventory and sell you stuff just seems kind of strange to me. And I don't know. I don't really like the idea that much. So then, like, the other option is I was thinking maybe it could give you, like, a passive buff. But then, like, to me, what I don't like about that is there's no reason to not have a buff. So, like, here's the options. It could be a timed buff. So, you know, the buff only stays on the player for so long before it gets turned off. But then, I don't know, it just feels like you're babysitting your stats at that point. You're having to make sure that you are completely up to par, making sure that you remember to, you know, build the statue to apply the buff. So that just seems annoying, is to have to micromanage that. The other option is that it just applies the buff permanently, and then, you know, there could be like different buffs, so you could change the buff at any time, but then at that point, like I said, it's kind of like a matter of, well, then there's no reason to not have a buff at any point in time. Like, you'd just be like, as soon as you get the chisel and hammer, you'd want to apply the buff right away and just keep that on the whole time. And depending on the person's playstyle, they might just apply that buff once and keep the same buff applied through their entire playthrough and never feel the need to ever change it ever. So it just, again, it feels like, well, then there's not much use to it, because then you only use it one time and then never think about it again. So I didn't really like the buff idea. So I don't know. My other option that I kind of like is to do nothing. To just make it a fun because you can kind of thing is, at this point, if it's just a fun because I can kind of feature, I don't know if I would do the stone slab, or if I did do the stone slab thing, then they'd be dirt cheap from the store. You could just buy them for, like 1 gold or something, and at that point you just buy a bunch of stone slabs and you could just spawn a bunch of statues for no other reason other than because you can. And I kind of like that idea, just a feature that serves no purpose other than, why the hell not? So I might go with that, but it would be nice if there was a purpose to it, other than just having fun and spamming statues everywhere. So, I don't know. I guess this is an engagement challenge to any of the folks who've made it this far into the stream, is if you have any ideas Good, bad, stupid, whatever, I don't care. Spitballing ideas because, you know, one dumb idea I may not do, but it could lead me down a train of thought that could lead me somewhere else. So whether it's a good idea, bad idea, or whatever, I don't care. Just let me know if you have any ideas for how the chisel... Let me frame it this way. It doesn't have to be a statue. I've been focusing on making statues. That's not what it has to be. Do you have any interesting ideas for how to use the chisel and hammer idea or chisel and hammer item besides just fixing the stairs? You know, give them an auxiliary function. Do you have any ideas for auxiliary function for the chisel and hammer item? There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. Let me make that clear one more time. State it clearly. Do you have any ideas for auxiliary function for the chisel and hammer? That's the engagement question for those who've made it this far. And with that being said, I'm sure there's probably a lot that I've missed because, like I said, there was a lot of progress that was made. Oh, there is one more thing I want to show before I end this stream. So I'm going to put the player at the start of the level, or start of the game. So, okay, this is one thing that I want to show off. So, I showed in the options menu here that I have game rules, right? So, this is why I didn't want to put tutorials into game rules, because if you look right now, they're all there. And we're going to go to new game. And this is actually a new game proper. This is how it's supposed to start. So, it asks before... So, first of all, practicing what I preach. One of the things I've talked about in reviewing games is that I've mentioned how annoying it is when games just launch right into them without giving the player a chance to actually look at the menu, the options menu. Although I have given the player a chance to look at the options menu, one thing I am aware of is that not everyone just goes straight to the options menu. In fact, I feel like a lot of the game developers who just jump right into the game are the kind of people who probably don't think about the fact that there are probably players who want to see your options menu first. So, because there's a strong probability that people have not checked the options menu, but there are some pretty important options in there that players may want to adjust, here's this. We've allowed you, controller, to tailor our prepared test towards your own liking. You'll find a variety of settings and options to suit you. Would you like to take a look at our options? So you are asked to check the options and look at this. Check the options menu. Bam! Just brings it up right there. So I remember mentioning in one of my game dev streams, I said, I don't know if it's possible for you to do this in RPG Maker or not. Well, here's the answer. Yes, and it's not difficult at all to do it. It's very simple to actually bring up the options menu. It's not within your standard event option choices. It is technically through scripting, but the script is dead simple. So yeah, and now it gives a chance for the player to adjust all these options. Now here's the fun thing. So you can see if we go here, we have all of our options. Game rules are here, tutorials, battle messages, battle speed, blah, blah, blah. All of our audio settings, visual settings, and so forth. All are present. Now we'll go through this. I'm going to skip through this. I'm going to go through all the... Oh, shit. Skip through all of this. All right, so now if we go here and go to options, well, would you look at that? Oops, didn't mean to go there. Game rules are now gone. You cannot adjust those once you start the game. There's a purpose for that. First of all, I just kind of wanted that I don't want players to be able to change that like in the middle of a game. I want them to commit to their choices. The game is going to be pretty short, so it's kind of like... you know, I'd hate to ask the players to have to restart the game completely from the beginning if they're even midway through the game. But at the same time, it's not a super long game, so it's probably not the worst thing in the world to have to restart if they made the game too tough on themselves. It's a thing for if it's easy. If it's too easy, then they can, you know, it's not that far to the end of the game and just be able to replay it again, but with different options, or to just restart and select different options. So I could technically make it so that they could adjust these options at any time, but I don't want to. And so one of the reasons why I wanted to remove that options is like, here's how it works. Let's open this up. And so here is the open options script right there. Scene manager.push scene options. So here we go. So basically, it's going to read all of the settings that you've set in the game rules option, and it's going to copy those settings into what I've called a static variable. This is a variable that does not get touched ever throughout the game, so it will basically be permanently stuck, fixed to that number. And so all these things get set to whatever their static value is, and that's going to be used throughout the rest of the game. So this is how I have preserved the settings. So, you know, at the beginning of the game, when it shows the options screen, you can adjust the settings, and it's going to read all of those settings and apply it. Once you close out the options menu, it's going to apply all those settings to the static value, and then those static values are going to be set for the rest of the game. The reason why I have removed game rules is because now that it's been applied to the static value, it will never, ever, it's static. Once it sets it, it's not going to be able to change. No matter how much you change the value in the options menu, once you started the game, that static value cannot change anymore. So you can raise it all the way up, but the static value is still the same. You can raise it all the way down, the static value is still the same. So that's why I wanted to remove game rules from the options menu once the game has started, is because there's no reason for the player to play with those options anymore once they are in the game. They are locked to those choices. They have to commit to those choices. So removing the options menu prevents them from, it doesn't prevent them. I mean, like, what am I trying to say here? I'm getting ahead of myself. It doesn't make them confused. They might see the game rules there and want to try to adjust it once they start the game, and then realize, oh, even though I've changed these options, it hasn't affected my save game. It does technically say this, by the way. We'll go here. Note these changes only affect new games. Changes do not alter existing save files. So it does specify that clearly at the top, but again, I work on redundancies here because maybe not everyone is going to notice or pay attention to the description at the top of the game. So they might not notice that. So in order to prevent them from missing that and then coming over here in the middle of a save game and playing with these options, I've just completely removed them, because playing with these options once the game has started would affect nothing. It would not change anything for their save based on how I use the static values, static numbers, static variables. So yeah. What am I trying to do? I think that's mostly gonna be it. Yeah, I think that's everything. Like I said, I got a lot accomplished this past week. So, past few weeks, honestly. So I'm sure there's probably a few things that I might have missed that I just never had a chance to mention, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. It's not super important. I think I showed off all the main things I wanted to show off, so that's okay. So before I end the stream, just remember the engagement challenge that I have for you guys is just tell me about your ideas for the chisel and hammer. If you have any interesting auxiliary functions for it, leave a comment. Let me know. And other than that, thanks for watching. Be sure to check the links down in the description. I have links to my Discord, to my book, to my old shitty game, and my music, which is not shitty. And also I have other links down there. I don't remember what else. Anyways, don't forget to do the YouTube stuff as well. Like, comment, subscribe. That comment is the engagement challenge too, by the way, if you're forgetting what that is. And that's going to be it. So thank you guys so much for watching. And next week, I think we will play some other people's games. How about that? So, all right. Bye.